Okay, so the first thing I'd want to probably do is actually define the PowerPoint slide size. I want to make sure that the page size in PowerPoint is pretty much the same size as the canvas size, slide size I'm using in Storyline. So when I look at my final design here, right, I can see that this is not your default size. It's not a 4:3 ratio. It's not a 720 by 540 slide. Well, what I would do then is convert those pixels of my dimensions in my slide and convert those to inches, because Storyline is going to work in pixels and PowerPoint, click the Design tab, works in inches. So I need to convert those pixels to inches, and you can find some online calculators to do that. You may not get exactly the same. Sometimes the way these numbers round off, you may be a 0.1 tenth of a pixel off or an inch off. That doesn't matter, because once it's imported into into Storyline, you can make those slight adjustments. But it's a lot more work if you work from a default size of a 720, or in this case, it's 7.5 by 10 inches in PowerPoint. That's going to be more work. So try to get it, convert it, and then don't worry about getting these exactly the same, but you want to make sure that it's as close to the final output in Storyline as you intend. The next step really is I mock this up. I'm just using simple shapes. Red and green work really well here, right? I just have a gray for my instructions, and I have some red shapes to indicate the drop targets, red shapes to indicate my draggable targets, and where they would go, right? So in theory, the red one would all be together, and the green one is all together. Now, in this case, I'm not asking the SME to put and come up with the layout and the design. I'm going to do that myself. I'm doing that based on the information I've gathered from the SME, based on, other real-world examples that learners are likely to perform. I may have already created and likely have a design comp or a really firm idea of what it is I want. What I'm passing to my SME, in this case, is the PowerPoint. I want to give them an idea of where these pieces go. I'm sure they've seen this final example, right? So it's not like I'm hiding this from them. But what I want them to look at is this type of document where they're going to kind of recreate that interaction with their assets, with their drop target feedback, with their instructions, things that they actually have access to, things that they can easily do. Most likely they're going to have a lot of images that they already have access to that they can use. Trying to get them to help with the production. I'm not offloading the entire production to them. Now, after I've really kind of laid this out or recreated the initial layout, what I'm going to do is convert these to images. And the reason I want to do that is that it's a lot easier in Storyline and PowerPoint if I swap these out. If I convert these into images, when I swap these out, I can swap them out as pictures. So what I would do is I'd right-click, I'd choose Copy, and then when I paste it, I'm actually going to select the second option, Paste it as a picture. And what this does, you can see it's not editable. I can't select the text. I can't do anything, right? Here I have the text. I can change it whenever I want. Here, it's truly just a picture. So what I can do, though, right, is I can select this, right-click, and now choose Change Picture and go find my real picture, or ask the SME to do that, right? I'm going to find a plate, right? They're going to find that and replace those graphics. So that makes it really easy for them to make those changes rather than having to insert another image. It might not be a bad idea also to include something like the width, right? So maybe it's 350 pixels by 200, whatever, something like that, just to give them another bit of information for what the kind of images they're going to look for. But this is it. For the initial piece right here, image placeholders, text placeholders, these are all image placeholders in this example. For the instructions, I would just have text instructions here, right? So then I would come in here and there we go. Just add some instructions that tell them to go ahead and add text instructions here. I'm not going to convert this to an image because I want them to be able to add those instructions there. So in the next example, we'll take a look at setting up the feedback placeholders. A little bit different because the feedback isn't visible on the slide. And we also want to remove some of the extraneous objects here from the slide level. So we'll actually work with the slide master in that example.